Alright guys, so on Discord, we had some amazing questions. Let me pull them up. Again, Discord is linked below. There'll probably be something on the video here. I don't know. I have to edit this one because COVID-19, so probably forget. It'll be down below at least, though it's in every video. I don't even have to add it, so. What's the next move for the organization? That's a good question. It's a great question. It's a question I can't really answer because so much of the next moves are internal and we have to keep, quiet until we're ready to be loud. I think it's the best way to explain that. But moving forward, some of the things we can talk about, right? The next move for the organization, Rebel as a whole, which includes Aspire and Sage, it always does when we talk. It's one company, 3 divisions. The goal for the organizations and the company is to bring the mental and physical health aspects of esports to the forefront. At the end of the day, we have a lot of micro goals, right? Win a championship in Gears of War, win a championship in Call of Duty. We've missed out just barely in those multiple times throughout this year. Top 6 at Atlanta, the top 6 in LA. We're missing out in small margins as far as Call of Duty goes. Gears of War, top 5 in Mexico. We missed by 1 map to continue to move forward. Obviously, there's more games. We don't know how it would go, but we're missing at the smallest level, but we're building an amazing brand during that time. The goal, however, is the focus on physical and mental health within the esports industry and what it takes to combat the stereotypes and the stigmas within the esports community right now. Those are kind of our main, that's the main goal of the organization, is to be the forefront, the thought leader, the organization that sparks the fire of the mental and physical health aspects being an important part of being an esports athlete and being an organization. The stress that is on these players, both physically and mentally, to be at the top of their game is insane. It's no different than any other athlete, and it shouldn't be treated different than any other athlete. And that is something that we as a company and our management team and our board of directors believes incredibly heavily in, and you're going to see us starting to take that forefront. We had to take the baby steps to get to a place where we could even be considered to talk about that conversation and not just be blown off initially. We're there. That's the goal. It's time to start pushing for that. So hopefully that answered your question. If it didn't, ask again. How would you describe the changes from the beginning of the org compared to now? This is a great question, and it requires a little bit of in-depth answers to it. At the beginning of the org, which is coming up on 1 year, the organization was a fitness-based product company with an esports division as a marketing tool. That's a lot of long terminology for, we were only using the teams to push the products that we wanted to launch and to build a micro brand within esports, because that was the market that we wanted to capture within our fitness supplement product market. We had some great products for longevity of player careers and pre and post game, and same ideas of bringing the physical health aspect to it. It's changed. As I said at the start of the video, we made Call of Duty history within the first 3 months of an organization being there. Whatever you want to say about how we got there, that's on you. At the end of the day, we're there. Our name is in the history books for #LastChamps of the CWL era. And that was amazing. And so as a company, we had to decide where we wanted to go. And basically, we did a 180. The first 6 months of Rebel was a totally different company, a totally different vision. January 2020, we are now an esports organization. That is our primary goal. Our primary focus is to be an esports organization and not a product company with an esports division. So the company's drastically changed since the start of the organization to where it is now, but it won't change anymore in the future. We have a clearly defined plan for where we want the company to go, and that's where we're going to take the company. So, great question. I'm I'm trying to think if there's any more in depth that I can go into that question. It's just a totally different company. So for me, mentally, the way we look at it internally as a company, this company restarted in January 2020 as an esports organization. So even being a part of that Call of Duty history and the journey to get to that level and to even be in the conversation for the Rocker affiliation, those are all pieces of our history, and they're always going to be a part of our history. They're amazing. It was an amazing journey. It was a great journey, but it had a different end goal in mind. And I think it's important to set realistic goals and realistic time frames, and the company's goals, the company's time frame, what we wanted to do, what our vision was, changed so drastically between Champs and January at the Minnesota launch event that for me it just feels like a different company. It feels like a different organization with different values, different goals, or different focus, different goals, same values. So it's changed a lot, I think, is the TLDR answer. This is a really good one. Why hasn't my order of Deck's bathwater shown up yet? So, as I said at the start of the video, we did add Christopher Deck, pick a better name. We added Deck as our VP of Operations for Rebel Esports. However, the Christopher Deck bathwater and Valorant codes, if you need a Valorant code, DMs at Esports Deck on Twitter. Those are personal brand issues. Rebel has nothing to do with those. If you have not received your Esports Deck bathwater or your Valorant code, please at Esports_Deck on Twitter, hit him up, send him a DM. He'll take care of it. Nothing to do with us. Please don't email the Rebel people. We're just going to send you over to at Esports_Deck on Twitter. So great question. I'm glad to be able to separate that out. That's a Chris thing. Rebel has nothing to do with it. At Esports_Deck on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, let's move on to the Twitter questions. We have some amazing Twitter questions. So, Twitter. All right, guys. Twitter. We got some really good questions on Twitter. Question number 1, what is your content vision of the brands? As I've always talked about, content is an incredibly important piece to me. It's always been, coming from a marketing background. Content is king. Content is absolutely what grows an organization. It's what separates you out. Your level of content, what you're able to do with it, how much you can put out, separates you out. The vision for our content post-COVID-19 is totally different. We have some amazing stuff going on, some podcasts in the works. We have a full studio set up out here in Denver that we were able to partner with an amazing company on, and that we're going to have a full podcast studio, a full almost talk show style studio for Plays of the Week is going to change up a lot. The content vision is huge. We want to bring content on the level of where we see the organization and what we're able to do. Now, with that, we are going to still have the competitive content aspect, the gameplays from the Pro League weekends, the ALGS with the Apex teams. All of these things we are still going to continue to have for content in a way that we're able to deliver that other organizations aren't able to. We have some amazing contacts within all of the communities that we play in, so having post-game analytics, post-match analytics, map breakdowns, things like that. We also utilize our content with our teams to help them grow, and the coaching staff, and they're able to go back and watch it back, and then we're able to bring some of that. So the content vision is to continue the focus on esports while providing a breakout of content based on the organization, what we're doing. Pre-COVID-19, we built so much content around building this company. Like I said, January 2020, we started this new vision, this new aspect, and we've been documenting everything. And that was a big content focus for us, was the focus on what does it take to build an esports organization? What is it like behind the scenes? That's a big content vision for us. From our content creators, what is it like to be a content creator? You know, we can see you streaming 8 hours a day on Twitch, but what goes into it before the stream? What goes into it after the stream? How is it like to pull clips, talk to your moderators, build your communities? We want to put a focus on what it takes to actually be within esports, and that's where our content is. You know, there's so many organizations out there that do the fun content, the cooking videos and the funny, me scroll through your Instagram and all of these amazing pieces of content. And we are going to do some of those. Obviously, you have to. It's the industry that we're in. But our content is going to shift a little bit more to what does it take to be at the level that we're at, from a player perspective, from a content creator perspective, from a management perspective, and from an investor and partner perspective. Everything we do is always recorded. We document everything. It's just how do we take what we're documenting and tell a proper story about it. That was a great question, though. What's it like to be an affiliate of Rocker? Being an affiliate with Minnesota Rocker has been amazing. I have literally nothing negative to say about it. It's helped the company exponentially. The team at Rocker, Brett, Midnight, Tiny, Exceed, specifically Jessica, who's been an amazing help. The team at Rocker has been great. It's felt like a real partnership outside of, I'm able to email them. They're our direct contact with the league. They're putting in just as much work every day as we are on the amateur side of Call of Duty. And for that, it's amazing. Being an affiliate of Rocker is amazing. They've got the craziest fans. Their watch parties are crazy. That first home series event was crazy. Rocker's was a sleeping giant. I mean, they've clearly proven themselves since then, but they were a sleeping giant, and it's been amazing to even be a very small piece of that and what they've been able to accomplish. My family. I have family from Minnesota. I've watched the Vikings. I'm not a fan, but I've been to Minnesota since I was a little kid. I love it out there. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Yeah, I love the staff that they have, the people that they have. We had Tiny on our team from Minnesota. We had him as a streamer up until he got picked up or Miami. We had him as a streamer until he got picked up by Minnesota, and so it's great to work with Devin again. Exceed is an amazing talent. It's great to work with them, and it's been mind blowing. I guess TLDR, it's been mind blowing. What major game titles would you guys like to compete in? Currently, in our company plan with expected growth rates, we only plan to expand into 1, maybe 2 more games, with Valorant just being announced. We definitely want to get into that. And I love League of Legends. I love watching League of Legends. I love competitive League of Legends. Don't like playing it. It's very tilting. But I do love watching competitive League of Legends and learning about competitive League of Legends. I think it is one of the most interesting esports to watch on this planet. Personally, obviously, that's a personal opinion. Please don't tell our Gears of War players that I don't think they're interesting. I think watching Gears of War is amazing and interesting as well. I think watching Call of Duty, watching esports in general is amazing. Just my personal opinion, competitive League of Legends is one of the most technically amazing pieces of esports to watch. We want to get into League. We want to get into Valorant, with it being new, and I think it's going to do very well. One game that we are sitting out that a lot of people are surprised about is Fortnite, and for us as a company, Fortnite is great. It's an amazing game. It changed the landscape of esports forever. I think they're just dropping the ball a lot right now with how they're structuring the scene. And because of the World Cup, the inflated valuations of Fortnite players does not match what Epic is putting out. So it just doesn't make sense from a company perspective to get into Fortnite. People ask us all the time. I love Fortnite. I play Fortnite all the time. I love watching Fortnite. I think competitive Fortnite is on a crazy different level than just public Fortnite. to a point. I think it used to be. I think now there's some issues in differentiating pieces there, but I would say through 2020 specifically, and probably honestly through 2021, now esports is constantly changing and shifting, and you can't, don't take this to the bank, but through 2020, we have no plans to extend outside of Gears of War, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, League of Legends, and Valorant. Those are going to be where our focus is at. We feel as an executive team that is as far as as we're willing to stretch ourselves to provide the best content and the best player management. We are a player first organization. We want to make sure our players have exactly what they need and exactly what will make them successful. And branching out too far, in my opinion, is a mistake a lot of smaller organizations make in this industry. They branch out too far too fast, things start getting dropped, and it's something that we definitely are not going to do. So the 5 games, the 5 titles that we will be in will be Call of Duty, Gears of War, Apex Legends, League of Legends, and Valorant. Tell us about the Rebel branding and logo. How did that come to life? So the face, which a lot of people don't like, I love it, came because it's what I saw in my head when I was thinking Rebel, when we started switching our focus to, okay, we're gonna be this esports division. This was at a time when when we had the colored face in our spring 2019 collection. This was at a time where we still wanted to put some focus on product, and it would make a great label, and it was amazing. Now, our first logo was great. The R, the B, the L in the middle. It was a good logo. It was just, it spoke to a different set of what we were looking for. It was very product centered, esque, very base level, very very minimalistic. It wasn't esportsy. It was fitnessy, and so now I don't know if you guys can hear that, but somebody's sawing. COVID-19. I told you at the start of the video it was going to be crap. I'm sorry. What I was saying though, anyway, sorry. Where did the branding come from? It's my vision for what I see when I see a rebel. It's got the arrows. We're rebel against. We're rising above. We're kind of when you bring that mental and that physical health aspect to. When you bring that physical and mental health aspect to this, you are going to start being seen as kind of a bad guy, and that's why we have that. And then Glenn came in, Inc. came in, and worked with us to create this amazing text-based logo. I think that speaks volumes as well to where we're at and what the focus is on that. So that's kind of how that came about. I might do a more in-depth video on the branding, especially as the micro changes and things have happened over the last couple months. I think it might be important. So if you guys want to see it, just let us know. Always ask. Any Rebel skin coming to the Gears scene. Cannot confirm nor deny that a Rebel skin is coming to the Gears scene soon, or rather than later. Cannot confirm nor deny. I can't tell you guys. If I could tell you, I would, but TBA, TBD, TBA, can't. I'll get in trouble. What esports teams are you guys fans of? Personally, I'm a huge fan of 100 Thieves. I think without Nadeshot, we wouldn't have esports. I'm a huge fan of TSM. I think what Reggie has been able to do with that brand and how just incredibly large they are is amazing. And I'm a huge fan of Elevate, to be honest with you, and CLG. I'm a big fan of most organizations. There's very few I'm not. And I'm not going to say which orgs I'm not a fan of, but 100 Thieves and TSM really are kind of the two biggest ones. From a fan level, this is unpopular, but I'm a huge fan of Immortals Gaming Club on a business level. I think they are prepping for what the future of esports will be when the bubble breaks, and a lot of people aren't accepting or receptive to that. But from a business standpoint, Immortals. From a fan standpoint, 100 Thieves or TSM. And then this is an amazing question, and this will be the last Twitter one that I'll do. How exactly do esports organizations make money? Ads, sponsorships, what else? So, for an esports organization to make money, I don't know. We don't make money. But the plan to generate revenue, esports orgs do survive mostly off of sponsorships. Not and for me, it's not a sponsorship. We look at partnerships. Those partnerships and sponsorships are a piece. Those partnerships, those are kind of the driving revenue factors behind esports organizations as it relates to the competitive aspect, player salaries, getting them peripherals, keyboards, mice, monitors, things like that. That's where you basically break even off of what one of the things that a lot of organizations miss out on, and the top ones don't, but a lot do. Most, if not, well, not all, but most, a lot of, if not most, of, that was what I was going for. A lot of, if not most of your revenue should be generated through external pieces that are manageable within the company, though. Things like apparel, things like your content. Yeah, it's pretty impossible to really put a hard number on what each video is going to do or what each podcast is going to do, but those are going to be, and those bring in more partnerships, more sponsorships, the ad revenue that you had asked about. Esports organizations, they do not make any money off of player streams. They don't make any money off of Twitch deals or YouTube deals that players get. And at our level, we don't make money off of winnings either. For the most part, I think once you get to the top 4, 3, 2 championship level in a lot of these major lands, you can win a decent chunk of change even as an organization. But when you consider travel, salary, content for these events, getting out there, what it took building up to it, boot camps, everything that goes into it, I would say in my experience, about 80% of the time, you break even off of winnings. So for us, that's not even a revenue stream that we include in projections or anything like that, because as far as additional profit revenue, for Rebel, it's such a big focus on the lifestyle aspect, the physical health aspect of what we aim to do. So a lot of our revenue generation is going to come from our apparel. It's going to come from people wanting to support the vision of the brand that is Rebel, that is a player first, mental health, physical health first organization, bringing that conversation to the forefront of esports. It's a great question though. But yes, sponsorships, partnerships, and ad revenue on your own organizational based content are really going to be the three main revenue streams that keep the company growing, that allow you to invest into things like apparel, your own custom peripherals, stickers, things like that are additional revenue generating aspects, but do need to be paid for in some way, and those are going to get paid for from sponsorships, partnerships, and ad revenue on your own content. It's why content is so important. It's why focusing on growth is so important, but that gets lost a lot. And the last one's going to be, the last one we opened this up on was Instagram. So that's going to be the next set of questions, is going to be Instagram. Okay guys, Instagram. I've got to get through this quick because this battery is dying on this video, or on this camera. The camera is being a pain in the butt. So Instagram, 3 main questions. A lot of trolley questions on there, but there's 3 ones that I really want to talk about to end off this video. The first one being, are you guys going to do more fitness content? So before COVID-19 happened, we had some amazing fitness content planned, from hotel workouts on the go, travel essentials. We had a nutritional cooking style show for what foods you can make to bring with you to the airport, how you can continue to eat nutritionally out and about, how you can cook nutritional food in a hotel while you're at a venue or a place, and nutritional food for venues. We had a big nutrition piece, a big fitness piece. We have our intro to fitness piece on the YouTube right now, which is an amazing series. You guys have shown incredible support on it. We had more gym-based stuff, a couple different relatively large fitness influencers within the esports space that we were going to bring on and do content with. So yes, we are going to be doing a ton of fitness content once we're able to get back to it. Unfortunately, with COVID, gyms are closed, traveling is closed. We can't get to the pieces we want to get. With that said, however, we do have Pepperjack, who has been amazing on keeping the physical health aspect of Rebel at the forefront with his fitness streams. Check him out on Twitter, linked below. He's got amazing fitness streams. He does these at-home workouts to help you start your day out well and really continue to have that physical health within the confines of COVID-19. Post COVID-19, you're going to see some amazing fitness content from Rebel. Stay tuned. What's the connection between you and Rocker? I talked about this already a little bit, but to go more in depth on the technical side, we are the franchise affiliate of the Minnesota Rocker. What that means is they have 2 substitutes on their team in Tiny and Exceed who are available to play on the main roster. However, when they're not, they're kind of, they still want to play, they still want to grind. We have this amazing Challengers series. So, with that said, those 2 substitutes are on loan to Rebel. You find 3 other players with those 2 players to build a roster of 5 with. Send them to events. They compete in the Call of Duty Challengers brackets, and that's on a technical side as far as the affiliation goes. Their players are on loan to us, and we build ours. Rebel is Rebel, Rocker is Rocker. That's the technical side. Non-technically, like I said earlier, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Amazing teams. We're working together to really build amateur Call of Duty to be different than it was last year and into the future. How did you actually get a team into the league is the next question, the final question of this AMA Q&A video. And it's a relatively easy one, but it goes to show exactly how important it is to have a team behind you that is successful in areas that you are not. So to get a team into the league, I'm assuming you're talking about Gears of War, right? Because Call of Duty, it's a Challengers thing. Getting that affiliation with Minnesota is a much longer story. Content for that in the future, but I'm assuming you're talking about Gears of War and how do we get the team into the league. It's relatively simple. Gears of War Esports is built into 4 quarters: spring, summer, winter, and fall. At the end of each quarter, how it worked previously, it's changing in the future, but for us to get in, how it worked was at the end of the quarter, the bottom teams from North America A and B were relegated, meaning they had to play in a tournament for their spot with, I believe it was 6, don't quote me, the best teams from the open bracket. You played through that tournament. The winner and second place, so the winner of the winner's bracket and the winner of the loser's bracket, got to move into the Pro League. And this year there are 8 spots. There are no separate divisions within North America, so we're all in one spot. What happened was we played our way through the open bracket early. We ended up securing a Swiss spot, being at the top of the open bracket for Gears of War Mexico. So we didn't have to play through the open bracket of Gears of War Mexico. We actually took a Pro League spot in Gears of War Mexico as the top open bracket team. When we got back, we played through another open bracket tournament to qualify for the ladder. We won the winter ladder qualifier, and then we won the tournament to qualify for the Pro League. Hands down, very handedly. We won the winner's bracket, didn't drop a map during that tournament. And all of that comes from our head of Esports Inc. and his connections with Gears of War has definitely enabled us to build this amazing roster full of seasoned veterans, of people that everybody wanted to see in the league, that we knew were going to be in the league. And they're people I couldn't have got myself. Deck has been instrumental in organizing and making sure that we're able to capitalize on everything that comes from that, from being in the Pro League and the Gears of War scene. So that's been amazing. It just goes to show, like, getting to the league was easy in point A to point B. Explaining it, right? Just be good in the open bracket and you'll make it to the league is the easiest answer. But at the end of the day, it involved a lot of people within our organization and the amazing Gears of War team that we have to really push forward, step up their game, and know the ins and outs of it so that we could, to the best of our abilities, get into that Pro League spot. So that's why, even though it's a very simple answer on the base level, going more in depth into it, I want to point out and show exactly, one, how amazing the team that we have at Rebel is on an executive and management side, and two, how important it is to surround yourself with people who can complement your weaknesses. That for me is a big thing. If you've ever watched any of my self videos of the entrepreneurship or Road to the G-Wagon or any of the marketing story stuff that I did, you'll know for me, I don't believe in, I believe in having a team around you of people who complement your weaknesses so that you can focus entirely on your strengths. And it's something that we carry through to Rebel. It's something that we talk with all of our esports teams about. The captains of the roster and where we're missing, instead of bringing in somebody who is, whatever, in Call of Duty, a great sub player, but our weakness is, AR shots. We want to bring in somebody that complements those weaknesses. So yeah, maybe it's a little weird to run two ARs. I'm not. That's a bad terminology because of Modern Warfare, but even with players, the biggest thing is just focus on finding somebody that complements their weaknesses. And that's what we're building Rebel for as well. That's why we're able to secure some of the teams that we have teams of amazing top level talent as an organization that, even if you go all the way back, is less than a year old, and that's the reason for it. So that's why I wanted to answer that question. I do appreciate you guys all tuning in, though. That's going to do it for the questions that we got through this whole thing. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, COVID-19, I do apologize that the level of production, the multiple angles, and all the cool stuff that we normally do is not here. I've got a camera on a tripod pointed at my face. Can't even see because I don't have the piece that makes it mirrorless. So I'm kind of just hoping these all turn out well. And I appreciate your guys' patience. If you do have any other questions, ask us in the comments. I'll do my best to respond to them. And by that, I mean we'll respond to all of them because we're still small. So it's not like there's going to be hundreds of thousands of comments under there. As always, check the links down below. Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all of the socials, the apparel drops, the pro store, all of that stuff will be down in the descriptions below. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you. That's a lame outro.